Well, gee, that sure was some party my mother threw. Thomasoma. Anyway, the keyboard. Who needs a keyboard here? Oh, yes. The CD. Huh. I must check this out. News. Thomasoma, what's going on?
I don't know, Eugene. You should take the headphones off, that way we can go play Mario Kart. Are you okay? Please tell me you're okay. Eugene, stop this! What's wrong with you?
I'm Sesh now, Thomasoma, and you're Gomez!
Ready to serve, Sesh.
Let's go!
Happy Halloween from Scratch Disc, folks. Now, what?
It's the middle of friggin' November.
It is?
Yeah.
Fuck!
What if you lived in a world where your only loved one vanished?
I do?
That loved one you search for constantly, but you can't find them.
I can't?
You search, and only to find horrible, nightmarish apparitions.
I do?
Those horrible, nightmarish apparitions represent something very dark. They represent that the loved one you've been searching for has died. Tremble, as that person will never be seen to you again until you realize the truth.
That, friends, is Silent Hill in a nutshell.
Yes, and what an epic shell of nuts it is.
This series is fantastic, and it varies, but you can almost always find awesomeness in each one, and I'm going to tell you the best of the best of the best. Well, welcome to Silent Hill 2. Now, this game, as I said before, has been pretty much pulled apart for years, and we still haven't gotten to the actual core of it. We get the exterior, but there's so much stuff inside you can actually look at it for years and still find weird stuff. He and I have a theory going on that the main character is going through a real town and is just hallucinating over the grief of his wife, killing people that happen to be in the town as he goes. In fact, I got this one. In fact, this is what it'd be like.
Oh my god! Sir, please stop!
What?
Stop!
The letter says special place.
What letter?
You don't know where your wife is!
I need a health drink.
Sir, I work at Alchemilla Hospital. I know Dr. Kaufman. I can get you help.
Jesus!
Oh my god! Oh! Ow!
Die, you man with no arms! Ah!
Our story begins with our green-coated hero, James Sunderland, looking very grim into the mirror. He does a weird thing with his hand and proceeds to walk out and monologue for a good 5-10 minutes about his dead wife, Mary Shepard Sunderland.
I got a letter. The name on the envelope said, Mary. My wife's name.
He grabs a map from his car and proceeds to run down a very long-winded hill until he enters a graveyard and meets the most psychotic bitch you've ever seen, Angela or Sorrow.
No, you forgot what brought him to Silent Hill. He received a letter from his dead wife.
Yeah, and he's very, very, how do I put it, blunt with it.
A dead person can't write a letter.
And I suppose I should talk about this right now. James, I don't think he realizes how much of a pussy he is when he walks. It's kind of just like, manly. Look, a manly chainsaw. I think I'll take it and use it in case I need to do any manly things, like saw down trees or build a log cabin.
Or cut a manly head off in a manly fashion. Oh, manly.
Manly. You know, it's just, that's how it goes. Now, the plot is riddled with twists and turns, shocks, horrors, horrific events. It's just insane. And that's why...
And secret chainsaws.
Oh, yeah. What would a game be without a chainsaw?
Not Silent Hill.
So, as such, and especially with the ending, which will kind of shock you a little bit, Final Fantasy X's sequential thing going on with the horror survivals, Silent Hill 2, gets a 10 in plot. Manly 10.
Manly 10.
Very manly 10. Alright, now let's talk about game mechanics, walking around in the field and all that, and...
Manly walking around the field.
Yeah, manly, but we gotta be serious here for a second, because this is really where the game falls short. The controls are so blocky. So blocky, and don't give me that bullshit that's like, well, you know, if it's harder to move around, it becomes scarier. Bullshit.
I can tell you, if you were in a real horror survival scenario, you wouldn't be moving around blocky like. You wouldn't be grateful if you couldn't move well.
I would be able, if I saw ammo in front of me and I'm getting chased by a hellish monster, I would run and grab it as I was running. I wouldn't deal with...
You're not going to manly jog over to it, stop, grab it, shove it in your pocket, pull it back out, load your gun, and shoot.
No, I'd be doing this while moving because these things aren't going to wait for me. You know, it's just... It's not as though that James Sunderland is just swinging around madly and thinking, you know, oh fuck, hold on 1 second, gotta drink a health drink. Yeah, while I'm here, let's reload my gun. Oh, my shotgun's a little low on ammo, too.
As much as Zero here is rambling, it'd be much easier to show you an example.
As such, it does get a little weirder too because you've got a radio, okay, and that radio emits static. You've got a flashlight, and that flashlight emits light. Now, the flashlight is your biggest help, but it's also your biggest hindrance because as you're moving around, the monsters are going to be attracted to the light. They're going to be like, just standing around, so, did you have fun disemboweling that little girl that wandered in here? And he'll be like, oh man, nah, that was gruesome, that was horrible. Is that light? I think that's light. Light!
They're gonna chase your ass until you either hide, turn the light off, or kill them.
And then they get closer and like, holy fuck, it's James Sunderland! Pyramid Head's paying good money to kill him! And they're thinking, oh, let's just spray acid on his face. Or hit him with a tire iron. Anyways, getting off subject. So, like he said, either turn off the light, book it, or kill them. Now, the radio, you think, would be your biggest problem because you're walking down a dark hallway, there's like 3 enemies, it's like... You're thinking, fuck, they're gonna hear me. But no, the monsters are deaf. Can't hear a word.
I don't think the monsters have any senses except light perception.
Perhaps, I don't know. So, now... Other than that, it's fantastic, you know? You get to walk around, you get to read little notes about what's been going on. You know, it's awesome, you know? You get to see what other people went through when they got called to Silent Hill the way James did. Only problem is, it's kind of hard getting through Silent Hill when you have to physically turn yourself while you're walking. So, as such, we're going to be forced to give Silent Hill 2's gameplay rating a 2 out of 10. Nah, screw it. Let's give it a 4.
Alright!
Alright, so now we're going to talk about battle mechanics, which, unlike most of the games that we've been reviewing, battle mechanics is part of the regular gameplay, but I had to separate it because it's a different play style, you know? You adjust the way you play accordingly.
Basically, you run around, and there's lots of monsters, and you can either fight them or run away from them. You can bash them in the head with a stick, shoot them from a distance with a gun, or just altogether avoid them as much as possible.
Yes.
The only one you can't really avoid is Pyramid Head.
Now, one that I would really recommend is to not mix at the moment. You're fighting and you're running unless you know the situation. If you're in a big area, it's cool to run, but if you're in a closed area,
it's probably better to fight.
Yeah, don't mix the two. Never mix at the moment when you're thinking, should I run or should I stay? Should I run or should I stay? Just take my advice and don't fucking mix it. Okay? Because you will die. They will get you in a corner and you will die.
They will come.
Ask him. He's been pissed and just dropped the game because of it.
No, I haven't.
Oh, okay.
That was you.
Oh, yeah.
I've only died at this game like twice.
Yeah.
Ever.
Oh, yeah, it's the apartment complex that puts you off.
That does suck.
It does, doesn't it? Anyways, so... Now, the weapons vary. If you've never beaten the game before, your starting weapon is...
A plank.
A plank of wood. He's scared the fuck out of his mind. He doesn't know what he's doing, so he takes a step back and... Stick of wood, bitches! Yeah. After that, weapons vary. There's steel pipes. There's the chainsaw we were talking about, which really isn't all that great of a weapon. You think if horrible, hellish apparitions made of nothing but flesh were confronting you, a chainsaw would be fantastic, but you gotta start the thing, and you're so fucking slow when you're holding it,
and if you get knocked down, it has to be restarted.
Yeah, for some reason, getting knocked over makes the chainsaw just shut off.
Try getting knocked down and keeping your hand on the button to hold it.
True, for a safety measure you'd want to let go, but if you're knocked down and it's like still started and they're like on top of you, you can just ram it into their ribcage, you know what I mean? Yeah, the weapons, they're a colorful array of weapons, and they're not stuff that you think you would use. So, yeah. Battle system, what would you give battling?
8 out of 10. Pretty good. Could have been a little better.
Yeah, so, Sesh has spoken.
So shall it be written, so shall it be done.
Alright, so here's something I gotta point out. With video games like RPGs and games like Trauma Center, where the enemy monsters are in huge amounts, so I can't exactly pick out each one and tell you about it. Well, I'm not going to do that with Silent Hill 2, but they are in short enough numbers that I can actually have a section devoted to them, which I like to call the creature feature. Anywho, so we've got monsters up the yin-yang in Silent Hill 2. You've got legs, which is to represent something that you'll find out when you play the game. And you've got a nurse, which explains that James has an aversion to hospitals due to the disease that his wife was going through, and that's not a spoiler because he talks about his wife dying of a disease early on in the game.
Who do you think you're telling that to?
These guys, but I don't like pointing at the camera all the time. Then you've got the roaches, which are supposedly just still part of the powers of the town, but
they're roaches. Continue.
Yeah. Then you've got the armless men, which represent how constricted and repressed James is about everything. And then you've got the biggest, baddest motherfucker of them all, Pyramid Head. If Orin had a part-time job as a monster in Silent Hill, this would be what he did during the summer. He's big and bad. He's got a huge metal helmet. He's wearing a smock of meat, and his fingers are pretty much melted together. And he does this weird thing when you first see him.
I thought he was wearing mittens.
Meat mittens? It works, but they're still fused together fingers. And he fucking rapes and kills every monster in Silent Hill, almost to say that he's on your side. But he doesn't like you.
He tries to rape and kill you.
I'm gonna have rape for dinner, that's what he thinks.
You know, he sees James in a closet and he thinks, hey, you know.
Why don't you come out of that closet? But you know, the way I see it, they just kind of poke at the same psychological problem and just bring it up over and over again with the monsters, almost to the point where you could just make up a monster to represent something about James. You know, it's kind of weird, isn't it?